In this video, we want to take a look at what makes a good conditional statement as part of a decision block. Because we've already looked at a lot of different types of decisions, and we've never stopped to ask, is this a good decision? Our decisions have started off pretty simple, where we had one condition and we only did something if it was true, and we worked our way up to having multiple conditions inside of one decision block. Now, the question is, what makes the good condition? Well, there's a couple of things. First off, it needs to be able to be answered in a true or false, yes or no type of question. So what we want to do is be able to say something and say, is the shirt blue? We do not want to say, what color is the shirt? Because then it doesn't know what to do with it. And it doesn't necessarily know how we're going to process that. So we have to simplify it down. The next thing it has to do is it has to be something that's easily evaluatable. Now, that part is actually a little bit more complicated. And let me show you an example of a decision which can be true or false, but is hard to determine. So let's take a look at this real simple flowchart. We start, and then we ask a conditional statement. Is it cold outside? Well, obviously, that's a yes or no type of question. That should be good. The problem is, what is our definition of cold? And that's where we get into a really interesting challenge, because cold means different things to different people. So I grew up in Florida, and in Florida, if it got below about 70 degrees, we thought it was cold. And if you're in 60-degree weather, you've got a jacket on, you got long sleeves on, you got long pants on. And if you go meet someone from up north, that's a completely different case. A perfect example is I was talking to my sister, and she was out checking her mail on her cell phone, and it was about 30 degrees outside, and she was in short sleeves. She had gotten used to it being cold. And she said, as long as it's not windy, 30-degree weather isn't bad. Now, my Florida mind said, well, that's crazy. But then I started thinking about it. It says, wait a second, maybe cold is more than just temperature. It can involve other factors like, is it wet outside as well? So if it's humid or if it's snowing and you're getting water on you or you got cold rain, it may not be temperature-wise as cold, but it will feel colder. Or if you have wind blowing on you, you get a colder feel. And in fact, there's a term for it. It's called the chill factor. So one of the things we look at when we say, hey, is it cold outside? We have to start putting all these different things together. So instead of saying, is it cold outside, we might need to adjust this question. So I'm going to come here, and I know I'm going to need a bigger box, so I'm just going to resize this real quick. Hopefully that would be big enough. And I'm going to say something like, if the temp is less than 50 degrees and wind is greater than 5 miles per hour, or you could choose to convert that to kilometers if you want to, and humidity is greater than 45%, and it looks like I need a bigger decision box. That's an easy fix. All right. So here you notice that we took and made up our is it cold and put into 3 different conditions. Now, you might be looking at that and thinking, oh, those numbers are all wrong. It's not 50 degrees Fahrenheit. It's going to be 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Or you might be thinking, 50, try 35. Understand that those numbers might change for you. But instead of making is it cold, which is a very relative term, now we have very factual values. And we still get a boolean true or false, yes or no type answer. And that's what we're looking for. It has to be measurable, and it has to be able to be in a yes or no type of answer. That is it cold, is not. And so often we're going to find a lot of different questions that are going to be presented to us from all different types of business entities. They're going to come and say, is this a good employee? Should we hire this person? Should this person be admitted to grad school? All of those seem like really good yes, no types of questions. But there's a lot of underlying factors in here, and we're going to have to figure those out. So next time you look at making a decision, Start to ask yourself, is this a good question for a computer to answer? Is it something that's measurable? And if it is, continue on. If it's not, start thinking about, well, what makes up a person who's good for a promotion, admitted into grad school, etc. So keep that in mind. I hope you found that useful. If so, check out the rest of our videos that are in this series on learning how to use flowcharts.